very happy today to welcome Terra Strong Lyons. She's an actress and also involved in podcast and music and everything related to art. Hi, Terra. How are you?
I am so good. How are you?
I'm very happy to welcome you today. It's a pleasure.
Yes.
I found out about your work this week. We saw the movie Persona, if you remember doing it.
Yes.
And as well, I've seen that I see some of your work previously. I needed to connect everything together. But before I talk about your work and filmography, film and television, tell me about your background and interest into the arts. How did it start?
I've always been a performer, which is very ironic because when I was young, when I was tiny, like a kid, I was so shy. I was extraordinarily shy. Like I would like hide under tables when people would come around. Like, yeah, I was at one point, I think I was scared of my father. He was just huge and, loud voice. But I feel like my outlet was performing. I could put on a character and I could be anybody I wanted to. And so around 5 is when I decided I wanted to be a singer. And I wanted to be Whitney Houston. And that's when I kind of started to come out of my shell. When I was around 5th grade, I decided I wanted to go to a performing arts high school. So I auditioned for the School for Creative and Performing Arts. And I got in. I got in for all the performing stuff, the singing, the dancing, the drama. And that pretty much started my career in musical theater.
I've seen as well that you did some work in Nashville, some musical production. So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about it. And of course, you were born in Milwaukee and Cincinnati,
Mhm.
right? A Cincinnati kid yourself.
So,
Okay.
so I was born in Milwaukee, and
Mhm.
I moved to Cincinnati with my mom when I was 5. And from there, I lived with my mom up until I graduated high school. And then I moved to Nashville, Tennessee to go to college. I went to Tennessee State University there. And at Tennessee State, I joined a band. I joined a performing cover band called the Jimmy Church Band. And I went to school for music. I have a degree in music and a minor in business. And that's pretty much how it all started. Around my second or third year out of college, I'd always been performer, period. But I wanted to pivot my career from singing to acting. And so I went on a trip to New York. I stayed there for about a year, not a year, excuse me, a month. And I auditioned there and I did some like background work. And I pretty much decided from there that I was going to go to Los Angeles. And I really wanted to pursue TV. So in early 2016, I moved to Los Angeles, California.
Yes. Tell me about your first steps, in LA. It's very competitive. When I visited New York and Los Angeles, I met a lot of young people and also some, actors and filmmakers from older generation. They used to take me and tell me these coffee shops and these restaurants, most of them are talents, waiting for audition, waiting for opportunity. Well, especially when I was in Los Angeles several times. So tell me, how did you manage to overcome this competitive ambient and environment and find your first role in television? Because you co-starred in many renowned television series, and most of us, have seen them around the world as well.
Yes, yes. It's been such a blessing and an honor to be cast in huge shows, major network shows. Um, so when I first got to LA, I didn't have representation, which, I didn't have an agent, I didn't have a manager. I went with the promise of signing with an agent. And, pretty much while I was there, I decided that was not a good career move for me. And so I just really did a lot of what we call self-submitting, which anybody can do that. You can do that on all the casting platforms where as a solo, as the artist, you can submit to projects. However, there's not going to be like, you're not going to see NCIS Los Angeles on there. You might for like background stuff. But even for background stuff in Los Angeles, you have to be with either background casting agents. So with that being said, I was self-submitting for like non-union stuff, a lot of like short films and short promo stuff. And that is kind of how I got my feet wet in Los Angeles. But I was constantly looking for reps, right? That's like the big goal when you first get to Los Angeles, is to find somebody who will rep you, who believes in you and believes that you can make money with each other. And so in 2019 is when that happened for me, right? 3 years after getting to Los Angeles is when I really, and mind you, I had reps in between, but nobody that I was solid on, that I felt good about, and I felt good about creating a long-term business relationship with. So in 2019 is when I got referred to an agent, and that's kind of the best way to do it. And a warm, it's like in any networking situation, when you have a warm introduction to somebody. So that was my referral to my agent. We met, we clicked, great. And then my manager, someone had told me, hey, I know of this manager, they're looking for new talent. I think you should reach out. And by that time, I racked up a couple of, feature films. I'd had a feature film, my first lead in a feature film, and a bunch of like short films and stuff. So I had my packet together, which is so important to have your packet together, your materials for when you're looking for people to believe in you, right? People don't just see you and they're like, you're gorgeous, you should be on the cover of Vogue, or you should be a movie star, right? There's a million gorgeous people, but when you put together a track record, a resume for yourself, it also shows that you are a business person and you understand that this business is not easy and we need people who are committed. So my manager is still my manager today, and I'm so thankful that they took a chance on me, and we're still doing big things.
Very nice. You have very good terms, and I hope he can helps you in future work, of course, and support you. Tell me about Westworld. I saw Westworld, the television series, but before it, I saw the original two films, Westworld and Future World. They were done by Michael Crichton. He's a doctor who became a filmmaker and a novelist, a great, and he did, of course, ER, the famous George Clooney and Spielberg co-production. So tell me about your role in Westworld.
I had a small role in Westworld, in an episode of Westworld. That was one of my first major credits. So I did, before that, I had done Fairly Odd Parents on Nickelodeon. That was my first big major network role. And then I did NCIS Los Angeles. And so when I booked Westworld, first of all, I was blown away. I auditioned for it in, I think, early November that year, and they didn't call me for like a month and some change to do the episode, which to me, in my experience in booking television, is kind of crazy, because usually I'll book, I'll do an audition and maybe a week later I'll hear something, like the longest, maybe a week and a half. So to get a call to do Westworld after, a month and some change, I'm like, wow. I get on set, and I met James Marsden and Rachel Evan Woods, and that was incredible, because that was, I think, at the time those were the biggest stars that I had met on set to work with.
Yes,
And
it
so,
was the first season. It was the first
it was the
season, or
season, it was the last, it was the final season of Westworld. Yeah.
yes.
And
But I think the sets are huge as well. As
oh,
far as
yeah,
I've seen, the production, it's like making a movie, with the
it
sets
very much
and
like a
later
movie.
on the
Every
special
episode
effects.
is like a movie. Yep, every episode is like a movie. So where they had me come and do my fitting, I think was where they did most of the like the cowboy scenes
Mhm.
and those scenes out in the country. But where they had me shoot my scene was way down in the city, uh, like maybe an hour away from where they shoot those initial scenes. And it was this big room with a bunch of TVs. They had like all these LED, like huge size TVs. And I remember when Rachel got on set, she was like, "Oh my!" Like she was like, "Whoa, this is crazy!" And I remember the director saying, "Don't you do this often?" She was like, "No, not in something like this. Like, look at all these LED TVs, right?" And so that made me feel like, "Oh wow, I'm not the only one that's like tripping off of like this incredible set, right?" And I think James Marsden had the same reaction too. So it was a cool day.
Yes, but I've seen you've been cast in a lot of cop shows, right? Law and Order. Tell me, do you do some search before doing these kind of roles, or do you let the work with the director, with the paper that you have in hand, give you inspiration in front of the cameras?
I watch a lot of TV, right? And
Yes.
that's pretty much my research. I watch a lot of TV. Um, I took a class that I rave about, Annie Grindley in Los Angeles, where she taught us a lot about self-tape and how important it is, because what people don't understand is you can take a million um scene study classes, right? I want to be a good actor, I want to get experience working with other actors and reacting off of other actors, but you will never do a scene on TV unless you book the job. And booking the job requires you to understand self-tape and understand how intricate it can be, and how easily you can count yourself out by not understanding how directors think, right? And so I have made it my goal as an actor, and as a coach, I also coach actors, to make it completely clear in this box, in this little box, in this self tape, what's going on around me, creating this environment, creating all the different things that may happen. I just had a audition that went viral, my audition for Law and Order SVU, where there's nothing in my space on my side of the camera where I'm poking and I'm creating this scene. However, when you watch the tape back, it clearly looks like I am an EMT in an ambulance, and I'm dealing with a person who is bleeding out, right? And so I think this is very specific to TV. That creating this environment, and also understanding the rhythm of TV. So when it comes to like your SVUs and your NCISs, like understanding that there's not a lot of space, there's not a lot of time for emotion. It needs to happen quick. And once you start understanding that rhythm of TV, you'll start booking more.
I want to ask you about your film role as well,
Mhm.
especially that you starred in Persona. I just saw it. It was released online this week. And
Yeah.
like you mentioned right now, you started to try to look for independent productions and non-union. And I think this will give you later on, when you have some credits, you have the opportunity to join any actor guilds later on. This is the system. But I saw Persona, and I think it has a very good production values with the current cameras and lighting systems and post-production and softwares and everything. I think any independent film can look like a big production studio film now. So tell me about your role in it, and also the independent films and roles you landed on so far. And also, I want to know if you have a dream role you like to have in the future, a dream character.
Sure. So one really cool thing about this industry of acting, right, is creating a community of other actors and other professionals. And in I think it was 2018, maybe 2019, I met the producer of Persona, Shanti Laurie. I met her at an Emmys pre-show party. And it was just, other actors, other filmmakers mingling, and we sparked a relationship. And from there, she's actually had me in another production of hers, another baby of hers. And we formed this relationship, right? And so when she was doing Persona, she had this role for a 911 dispatcher, someone who answered the phone and heard she was playing the main character, Shanti Laurie, and responded to the emergency. And she, called me and she's like, I need you to do this voiceover role. Are you available? Would you mind and putting it on tape? And so I did, and it was really very, very simple in that way. But the exciting thing is that you have friends as you mature, as you stay immersed in this community of actors and filmmakers. You'll see your friends start to branch out and do more work, and that kind of becomes your network, just like anybody would say in any industry, that your network is your net worth, right? And so I got swept into this incredible independent project just from knowing someone, right? All that self-submitting and all of the submitting that my reps do for me. At the end of the day, this is a business just like any other business. It's all about network. I'm extremely proud of the project. I think that it's incredible. I'm so proud of my friend Shanti for producing, because she's always been on the on camera side. She's an incredible actress. So as a producer, I think she did an incredible job, and I'm so happy at the final product. My dream role, I am also a singer, and I told you I kind of pivoted away from singing so that I could pursue TV and television and film. I would love to do some sort of musical role where I can marry both of my worlds and put it out there to the world that I am not just an actor, I'm not just a singer, I am a performing singing actress. And it'd be cool to have some comedy in there too.
Yes, every time, I see a musical, sometimes they come back every now and then, not at the extensive, way they used to do in the 70s, and in the 60s, before the 50s, all the classic black and white, then colored musicals, And I hope, yes, you can lend a role in a great musical in the future.
Yeah.
And also because you dance as well, and you are disciplined, and already the craft of this multidisciplinary art. When I contacted you, you told me about your podcast. So let us know about it, and where and how we can see it. Will it be only audio or audio visual? We can see you as well. And tell me the detail, when we can find it, when it will be launched.
Yes, I'm so excited. So this is my baby. This is my creation. I've been so excited. So I've learned that being a parent and being specifically a mom in this industry is kind of something that a lot of actors just don't talk about, right? There's no space for us to talk about how hard it is to parent and run around with your tiny kids or your big kids while pursuing the art of acting and pursuing television and film. So I had this crazy idea to start a podcast called Mommy Actor, right? That's what I branded myself as. I'm a mommy actor and I'm proud of it. So it's the Mommy Actor podcast. I bring on other moms who are actors, and we just have a conversation about, how you started in acting, how you fell in love with acting, what have been the challenges being a mother in this industry. How does your spouse deal with that? Do you have a spouse? I mean, there's single mothers who are relying on their income as actors, struggling artists, who are still very committed to having a career as actors. And so I'm so excited. I'm so proud. And I feel so motivated to share these stories. Mommy Actor Podcast, it will be visual and it will be audio. We're going to premiere next Monday, February 23rd. It will be available on YouTube as well as all of the audio streaming services.
It's great. Congratulations. And I wish you all the best in everything you do. It's film, television, podcast. I look forward to see you in a great musical, as well. Maybe it will happen on stage. Who knows? Not necessarily cinema or television.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan as well of Broadway and off-Broadway production and musicals. And best wishes for the podcast and the launch of this podcast on the different platforms. And thank you for this interview. And I hope you can come back when you have a new project to promote as well.
Absolutely, Sharif. Thank you so much for having me. Tune into the Mommy Actor podcast starting every Monday morning, starting this Monday, February 23rd.
Great. Congratulations again. Have a lovely day. Take care. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.